Hello my gorgeous friends, I'm so excited to have you here. Today's video is going to be interesting, and in this lesson we're going to learn how to create an accordion, which is, in other words, a collapsible content with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. You might be wondering, what exactly is an accordion? Well, an accordion is a list of headers that hide or reveal additional content when a user clicks on it. So for instance, let's say we click on this object, it's going to automatically display the content inside of the header. And if we also click on the down one too, it's going to display it. If we hide it, if we click on it, it's going to hide the content. It is always useful when we have lots of content that we want to hide. We don't want every content inside of the web page to be visible, so we want the user to review them by clicking on a specific button or icon. Okay, and that's all. So right here I have my Visual Studio Code, and I have my HTML file which is just empty for now, except the meta tag and the link to the CSS file, also the link to the JS file. And here I also have my index.css file, which is also empty except a box sizing and a margin of 0. Well, this isn't that necessary, but I always like using it whenever I'm creating a kind of a content. And this is my index.js file, which is empty for now. I'm going to close this, and firstly we need to put in the content inside our HTML file. So first thing, what am I going to do? I'm going to create a container, actually a div with a class of container. So I'll hit enter, and inside of that div I'm going to create a header. This header here, my accordion project with JavaScript. So I'm going to say h2 and type in the text, my accordion okay, that's all. And still inside the container, I'm still going to push this down, create another div with a class of main, and inside here, that's where we are going to put the header, the tag header, where the user can click to review the contents. So I'm going to use the tag header, and I'll pass in a text, click me to review. Okay, let's say click me to hide or show the content, like so. As this is the word we use, click me to review the content. Okay, sorry guys, I'm going to use click me to review the content. Click me to review the content. I'm sorry for that. And next, still inside the main header, inside the main div, I'm going to create another child, and the child will be a div also with a class of content. And inside here, that's where our contents are going to be. So I'll create a paragraph, and I'm going to copy this and paste it. Though I've already copied it, just paste it. Okay, this is a text I just paste inside of it. Okay, so if we save this and open it with our browser, hopefully okay, this is it, my accordion project with JavaScript. This is the header, and this is the header which we are going to click on. This is also the content inside of the div which I create, the main. So going back to our Visual Studio Code, I'm going to copy this like 3 more times. So I will, first thing first, let me create a simple comment so that we can easily understand the code. So we say content area there, just say content area. So we're going to copy this content area as well as everything inside of it, and copy this and paste it underneath. Okay, content area. So going to paste it here, content area, and paste it one last time. Okay, so now we have 4 contents and 4 paragraphs. If we check this in our browser, you can see we have the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. And this is not looking very nice. It's not looking very nice because the tests are very close. Well, to do that, we are going to go into our CSS file right now. Go to our CSS. I'm going to close this index.js. Okay, in our CSS file, we have, as I said, a box sizing, border borders, and a margin of 0. So first thing, we need to select the container which we created with the JavaScript by using the class. Sorry, the HTML, not JavaScript. Container, I'm going to give this a maximum width of 800 pixels, like so. Also going to give this a padding of 10 pixels, and I'm going to align it to the middle by giving the margin up will be 5%, and the left and the right will be auto, so this will align it to the center of the page. We will save this and refresh it. You can see it's aligned to the center. This is looking good. So going back to our code, I'm going to select the h2 tag. Say h2. I'll close this. A h2 tag, and I'm going to align the text to the center, and as well as give this a text transform which will take in capitalize. What this will do is that it's going to capitalize the first letters in the h2 text. See, it's going to capitalize the first letter. Let me refresh this. It's going to capitalize them. Mine is in capital letter, which is uppercase. This uppercase, this uppercase, this and that. So now it's aligned to the center. Going back to our HTML file, I'm going to select the main class, and I'll give this a border of 2 pixels, 3 pixels, 2 pixels, black, and as well as give it a boss shadow. Which will take in also 2 pixels, 3 pixels, and 2 pixels, black, like so. I'm going to give it the margin up and down will be around 15%, and the left and right will remain the way it is. So if we save this and refresh it, we have the borders around them. Okay, we have the borders and the shadow. That is not looking nice. 2 pixels, black, border. Okay, no, sorry, 2 pixels solid black for the border. Okay, hopefully this will fix the problem. Save and refresh. Okay, this is okay. So going back to the main header, I want to select the header tag and give that a styling. I'm going to transform the text to uppercase by using the text transform property, uppercase, and a margin bottom of 15 pixels, and as well as align the text to the center. Text align, sorry, to the center, and I will give this a cursor pointer. a background which is taking Gainsborough, and as well as a boss shadow. So I'll be using the same boss shadow for this side. That is, I'm going to copy this and paste it below here. Scroll down a little for some space, and I will give this a line height of 50 pixels, and as well as change the color to white. Okay, hopefully if I go back and refresh, you can see we have the text with the Gainsborough background applied to every header and paragraph. So there's one thing I need to do, like to give it a font weight, to make the font weight to be bold, and as well as give this a text shadow, which will be the same thing. I will save this and refresh it. You can see there's a text shadow and the text are looking solid. Going back to our code, I'm going to select the header, not the header, the main.content, because I want to add some margin around it because they are too close to the border. So here I will select the main and the content, and I'm going to give the margin 0 for the up, the right 0, the down will be 10 pixels, and the left will be 5 pixels. And if we save this and refresh, we have it. There's a space, but basically we don't want this to be visible because we want this content to show only when we click on this header. So to do that, we'll set the display first to none. So this will hide the content. If we save this and refresh it, the contents are hidden. But there's one more thing I want to add, an icon. That will be here, a positive icon, so that when we click on it, it's going to automatically change to negative. Okay, what we need to do now is go below this and select the header and use the pseudo class after, and we are going to use a Unicode character. Open your string, and which will be 002B, uppercase B, don't forget that, and give this a color of black. And if we save this and refresh, you can see the icon is shown, is visible here, but we don't want it to be close to this text. We want it to show at the right hand side. So we are going to use the float property, float, which you take in right, and I'm going to give this a margin so that it won't be very close to the border. Margin right of 10 pixels. So if I save this and refresh it on my browser, you can see it's aligned to the right, and there's a space in between the icon and the border. So next thing, I want to add the negative sign so that when the user clicks on it, it's going to show the negative icon. What I need to do is to create a new class which is not in our HTML, and that class will be active. And I will also add a pseudo element after also, and I will change the content, still a Unicode character, and this will be a negative character. So I will use 2212. Okay, hopefully this will not be visible now in our browser, because if we refresh it as many times, it will not be visible because we haven't included it to the HTML using through the JavaScript. So to do that, we are going to close this up and open our JS file, which is empty. So there's something I need to do. I need to create a variable to select the headers. So every headers using the name header. So I'm going to select every header inside of our page. So what I should do now is to go back here and create a constant. I'll be using constant as the variable. Constant headers. So I'm going to say document.query selector all. So I'm going to select the header, and close this up. So underneath it, I'm going to create a for loop property, so that we're going to loop through the headers. So I will say for create a variable, let I equal 0. So I will say if I is less than headers dot length, so increment it by 1. Going on that, we're going to create an event listener to it, so that when a user clicks on it, a specific function is going to run. So we say headers and select the I variable which we created, and I'm going to add an event listener to this, and which will take in, click on it, and we're going to run a function like so. Open this, close this with okay. So in this function, first thing I need to do is to use this keyword to select the contents, and I'll be using the class name of the content. You can see I'm going to use the class name as the variable and use this keyword to select the next element sibling, which will select every element with the content. So going back to the HTML, the JS file, I'm going to create a variable, and that will be with the name content. So it's going to store the next element of the content variable. So it's going to say next element sibling, like so. So underneath it, I'm going to create an if statement. So if the content is set to none, set it to block. If the content is set to block, set it to none when the user clicks on it. So I will say if content, so we're going to access the style and also access the display. And after doing that, we are going to set it to, so we say if the content, the style, the display is equal to block. So we want to tell the browser to set the content, the style, the display to none when the user clicks on it. But if the content is already set to none, we want you to return the value to its default display, and which will take in that is content or style or display, set it back to block. So if we save this and refresh, hopefully we are going to get a positive result. So if we save this and refresh it, and if we click on this button, it's going to automatically review the content underneath it. It's not giving us what we want. Okay, let me open my console to see where the issue is coming from. If we click on this, it's not passing any error. And why is that? Let's go back to our code and see. Add event listener, click function var element this dot next element sibling. If content the style is equal to block, set it to none. As content the style or display, set it to block. Okay, why are we having this error? Header, okay. Header, okay. Let's go back to our browser and see. Click on this. Hopefully it's supposed to display. Back to our code. Okay, this is where the problem is coming from. We must spare the display and we use display instead of display. So let's see if we change this. I'm going to spell it correctly. Okay, display, set it to none. If we save this and refresh, okay, now it's giving us what we want. Okay, to our CSS file, our JavaScript, sorry, and I'm going to show in this content which we created with CSS. So I'm going to add this when the user clicks on it. So I will go back to the JS file, and below the variable I created, I'm going to use this keyword, and I will say this dot class list dot toggle active. So it's going to toggle the active class. And if we save this and refresh it, if we click on this, this is not doing, it's not going very well. And why is that? When you click on it, it's supposed to show the negative when it's open, not after it's still closed. Okay, the issue, let's check. Let's see our JavaScript file. If content style the display is equals to none, okay, I'm going to set this to block first. So if the content or display is equal to block, change it to none. RS, change it to block. And let's run this and see. Okay, yeah, this is going as it's supposed to be. So guys, and this is it for the accordion. You can see how it's working very well. You can add more styling if you wish, add more content, you know, to see how it behaves. And this is all for today, and thank you guys for watching, and I so much appreciate your time and your patience. And please don't forget to subscribe this video, and as well share it, like, and hit the notification button. But remember, if you are having any problem, don't forget to put it down in the comments box below, because it's my duty here to help you learn, you know, help you grow, build on your skill. Whatever anything you want me to work on, just let me know, and I will do my best to create a video tutorial next time. So love you guys. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.